Today we're covering how to bypass IP bans when web scraping in 2026. IP bans are the most common obstacle in web scraping. When a website identifies your IP as a scraper, it blocks all subsequent requests, returning 403 errors, empty pages, or redirect loops. Websites ban IPs through several mechanisms. Temporary bans are triggered when you exceed a request threshold and typically last 15 minutes to 24 hours. Permanent bans are applied after repeated violations or when your IP is flagged as a known scraper, and these persist until manually lifted. Some sites go further and ban entire IP ranges, so if one IP in a subnet scrapes aggressively, all IPs in that range get blocked. Websites also block entire autonomous system numbers, or ASNs, which effectively blocks all IPs from a specific provider. Common targets include AWS, Google Cloud, DigitalOcean, and Hetzner. The primary solution to IP bans is distributing requests across many IP addresses using proxy rotation. Residential proxies are the most effective because they use real ISP IPs that websites can't distinguish from normal users. The rotator works by sending each request through a residential gateway using randomized user agent strings and standard browser headers. For sites that require session consistency, like login flows or multi-page cart sequences, sticky sessions maintain the same IP for a defined period rather than rotating on every request. Comparing proxy types, Datacenter proxies are cheap and fast but easy to detect and frequently blocked. Residential proxies cost more but are far harder to detect because they come from real ISP addresses. For serious scraping, residential is the right choice. Request throttling is method 2. Preventing bans is cheaper than recovering from them. The goal is to match your request rate to what a human user would produce, keeping requests gradual rather than bursting. Method 3 is request pattern randomization. Bots create detectable patterns, so you randomize delays, header order, and request timing to make traffic look organic. Method 4 is ban detection and recovery. You build logic into your scraper to recognize ban signals like 403 responses, empty pages, or captchas, and automatically rotate to a new proxy or pause before retrying. Method 5 is session and cookie management. Sometimes bans are cookie-based rather than IP-based, so your scraper needs to handle cookie rotation alongside IP rotation. Method 6 is geographic IP distribution. Some sites apply per-region rate limits, so spreading requests across multiple countries reduces the chance of hitting a regional threshold. For best practices, start with 5 to 10 requests per minute and increase gradually. Rotate user agents in sync with your proxy rotation. Respecting robots.txt reduces risk even when bypassing other restrictions. Residential IPs have inherently better reputation than data center IPs. Include all standard browser headers and handle cookies properly to mimic real browser behavior. Spread scraping across hours or days rather than bursting. Track response codes and content quality because a sudden drop in 200 responses signals detection. And never rescrape pages you've already successfully fetched. On common questions, temporary bans from rate limiting last 15 minutes to 24 hours. Cloudflare bans typically last 24 hours for rate limit triggers and indefinitely for IPs flagged as malicious. Using a new proxy IP effectively bypasses any ban duration regardless. VPNs provide a single alternative IP, which is better than nothing but far from ideal. VPN IPs are often shared among many users and frequently appear on block lists. Residential proxies are significantly more effective because they give you access to millions of clean IPs. Some sites do share ban lists. Anti-bot services like Cloudflare, Datadome, and Perimeter X maintain shared threat intelligence. If your IP is flagged on one Cloudflare protected site, it may receive heightened scrutiny on others. This is another reason data center IPs are problematic. The number of IPs you need depends on volume and target sensitivity. For a lightly protected site with 10,000 pages, 50 to 100 rotating residential IPs are sufficient. For heavily protected sites like Amazon, Google, or social media, you want a pool of 10,000 or more residential IPs with geographic diversity. Most residential proxy providers offer pools of millions of IPs. Getting unbanned without changing IPs is sometimes possible. If the ban is cookie-based, clearing cookies and session data may work. If it's a temporary rate limit ban, waiting out the cooldown resolves it. For JavaScript challenge-based blocks, browser automation tools can solve the challenge and restore access from the same IP. IP bans are an inevitable part of web scraping, but they're entirely manageable. Residential proxy rotation is the foundation. Invest in quality proxies before anything else. Layer on request throttling, pattern randomization, and ban detection to maintain consistent access at scale. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll talk to you soon.